hanging out with HashBrown. Got some wonderful guests here. See, all the hoes been saying to say, HashBrown, you ain't uploaded for a week. What's going on? What's going on?
What is going on, HashBrown?
I've been sick. I wanted to do nothing. You know, I've been neglecting it. I'm not gonna lie, I have been neglecting it. Plenty of times I could have worked on we do got a hot video coming up, hopefully next week. Another story of my friend here, but that's all top secret stuff. But we're just hanging out. We all just got off work. Fixing to smoke the first bowl. What are you guys?
I guess I'll be the first one to fucking...
Yep, Friday, beautiful day, wonderful. Had some hamburgers, some hot dogs from the boss today.
Man.
What a guy. Couple gentlemen here, save him $1,600.
Hey yo, yo.
Hey yo, what's up?
Hey, we got this for free.
Hey guys.
We're just stopping in for.
He's on a bike ride.
Do you really have a girlfriend or she?
I'm just saying, hey, I was just dropping this off and we're leaving. It's okay, I was just explaining.
They have to go back to the pub.
Yeah.
You gotta go back and make it more.
Like,
Fine. Fine. Super fine.
Lane.
We're gonna go for a ride more people.
Lane.
Alright, love you guys.
I told you, we have to go. Come on.
Let's go get another
I see
clip.
you. I see you.
Bye guys.
So we got calls, we got family. It's not paused.
Oh,
So
hello?
don't say anything, you're nuts. You know,
Okay, what's up?
businessman. There's not a lot in there, so.
Are we still trying to,
Are you?
yeah, I'm on the phone right now.
That was a your call kind of thing.
I guess, yeah.
And that's how it goes when you're hanging out with HashBrown.
I would tell you something.
Nate
Nate is
Does
not
it-
here.
Who?
of skiing.
Oh.
He had a snowboard.
There's a lot of people who don't. There's a lot of people who fear the mountain. I wouldn't be afraid. I wouldn't be.
I used to fear the mountain.
I'm not saying it's this, that, and the other, and I could understand his kind of things, but you know, it's on the low down kind of deal. You know, not everybody's made for extreme sports.
I get it.
You know,
I'm gonna
Dude, I want to
jump,
try going snowboarding this
I hear good things.
Like, I like the cold. But I live where we live,
Where it's hot.
and it's hot.
I went in Georgia when I was up there, back when I was in like, what am I, 8th, 9th grade? Something like that. But, yeah, fucking did the bunny slope on fucking snowboard. I did a 180. Everyone else says I did a 360, but I was like, nah, man, it was just a 180.
Now I do have a question for you guys, because it has been kind of riding my mind recently. Yeah, I'll pack the regular one. It's and I don't know if it has been for you or whatever, but like you know, on my phone I have like the little Google News feed.
Yeah.
You know, and even on my YouTube, also controlled by Google. You know, but they're just like, I don't want to necessarily say advertising, but I'm gonna say they're advertising. They keep nonstop advertising me this Johnny Depp trial.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp and
I
Amber
clicked
Heard.
on one
It's
thing
everywhere.
for 2
It's-
seconds, and it wasn't even either of them. It was one of Johnny Depp's friends talking about something.
Yeah.
It's so
And I
crazy.
clicked on that, and now it's just bombarding me.
It's so crazy how it's
They're pushing
it's
us.
everywhere. Oh, and then they're pushing it.
There
And
are,
you know, okay,
It's
so
not-
obviously
it's not
it has
kept
been
quiet.
happening to you guys.
It's gotta be
You
a
know-
distraction.
Oh, Thank
It's
you.
gotta be a distraction.
Because where's the Glistine Maxwell
Look
case?
at what's going on. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about there.
With Jeffrey Epstein?
Singapore. No, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I know there are a bunch of people
China.
fucking killing themselves in China right now because they're starving to death because they've been on lockdown so
Yeah.
long and the government ain't bringing them fucking food.
I seen something. Oh, I meant to pack up the
Motherfucking
pipe.
Ukraine and shit is fucked up right now. Bro, I just fucking heard about this. I went to the fucking grocery store trying to buy some fucking eggs the other day, which I get the jumbo ones, you know, normally they're a little bit more expensive. They're like $1.58, you know, as opposed to like 79 cents. But I go to fucking buy them, $3.58. That's more than twice as expensive. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck? I even asked dude, I was like, is this right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, shit. Listen on the radio a couple fucking weeks later, come to find out it's because there's some fucking bird flu outbreak going on right now. And so now poultry and
That's a Blue
eggs,
Jay. He
the
comes
price
every
of
day.
fucking poultry and eggs are going up. You should get that Blue Jay. It'd be fucking cheaper than getting the chicken right now, I'm sure.
Damn. Is that because of the trucker thing? I don't know.
No. No, it's fucking bird flu shit. But no, the trucker thing is fucking affecting us too. That's affecting
I mean, it's all kinds of things. I say it's by
the
design.
price of other food right
It's
now.
by
And
design.
apparently the fucking war in Ukraine is fucking us too. I don't know exactly how,
But I mean, you hit right on the fucking head as far as the distraction goes. Because I was gonna say, like,
dude,
who cares?
You know,
Who the fuck
I
cares?
was thinking about that right before I came here. You know, we were talking about that the other day. He was like, if you were a superhero, he was like, superhero name. What would it be? Go. And I thought for a second. I said Captain Distraction. I said what? I
That's a
said my
good one.
superpower would be I could be able to distract anyone at any time, in any situation.
And the most amazing of things.
Yeah.
Like an illusionist.
Yeah.
Is what you would be.
Pretty much.
Essentially, illusionist.
Like I would just
Mhm.
distract everybody, and then you know it's
didn't
like
get it at first.
cops are coming for you. You know, you just distract them a little bit, get away. You know, fucking girls nagging you, you just distract her a little bit.
That's a
Don't have
legit.
beer,
That's
you
a
know?
legit capability. That's a legit D&D skill.
D&D.
Yeah. But
But
no,
no, and it's been pushed hard.
the Glistine Maxwell lady.
Yeah, okay,
if
what
that's
is that?
how
What is that?
if that's I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but she's the lady who was
The
like
charge.
fucking with Epstein.
Yeah, the white.
She was like his little
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
his wife per se, but yeah, she was his little like
She
right
was-
hand
She
bitch.
was helping him fucking
Yeah,
bring people out
exactly,
to the
I know.
yeah.
exactly. What? How
But
much?
she didn't
How
tell
much
on
did her trial get pushed? How
Like,
much did Google
I heard
push
like
on
one
my
thing about
feed?
it. I heard like one thing about it, and I just read it like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
actively going to trial like now.
That's it.
And then that was
But
it.
here I can get
There's-
every little
there's
detail and
something
every
else
you
on the
know.
trials thing, too.
I think it's just because people love Johnny Depp.
Oh wow, more actors playing
Yeah.
a part on the
Oh,
world fucking
I
stage.
think
Yeah.
it was.
Who-
I think it was.
it's so fucking unreal.
The Parkland shooter is scheduled
Wow,
to go
that kid.
to fucking court this June or July.
Mm.
That's just started.
I
Let's see
think
how much it gets in the
that's
news.
what I
That'll
heard.
probably
Since
get
what
some
he
attention.
did, since what he did was
That's what I
worldwide.
heard.
Yeah, but have you heard that it's going to trial soon? Not you, for you.
No.
I
That was
could
pretty
look it
big.
up. I could look it up.
I mean, I don't know. I don't follow like a lot of those things like that.
This is just things that I hear on the radio.
But I mean, it
in
was
passing most of the time.
shootings are definitely something this nation is trying.
Well, yeah, and you know what?
But
That,
you know
that
the whole
case has
thing, the
real
whole thing,
consequence.
the whole thing.
This
It
whole-
does, no, it does because the whole thing about the thing was he said he wanted to go down in history as like a famous school shooter. He wanted to be like a
The
John
fucking,
Cleveland or some shit, like
yeah.
a fucking
The
Columbine.
Johnny Depp thing and the Amber Heard thing, it has no real consequence. It's some bullshit fucking
It's a civil trial.
contrivance.
But
Yeah.
maybe-
It's a fucking civil trial.
Why? Why are
It's
people
not even a
so
criminal trial.
embroiled in this? You know, and
Because
it just
it's two actors, it's fucking major shit, and then it's like $50 million. I don't know if that plays a part. But
Bread
I
and
doubt it.
circuses, man.
exactly, fucking exactly, dude. Bread and circus, and it's like people, you know, it did amaze me though with the whole Chris Rock Will Smith thing. That there weren't many people who did stop and say, hey, now these are two actors. You know, I mean, like,
Because to me, I mean, necessarily.
what would you put it beyond Will Smith's capability to
Yeah,
get up on
yeah,
stage
okay.
and act hitting someone?
I thought it was.
I don't know. I still don't know about
It
that.
looks fake.
But okay, so I remember what I heard on the radio now, and they're pretty much like doing jury selection right now.
kid's fucked. I mean,
But
well,
If
well,
if they
yeah,
fucking
you killed a bunch
publicize-
of fucking
if
kids
they
at school. What are
publicize
you
the
expecting?
fucking trial and shit, then that's fucked because then you're just giving him the limelight. You're giving him that fame.
So you want it to not be public?
Yeah.
It's gonna be public
Publicized.
regardless.
Yeah, no, it's totally gonna be publicized. It's totally gonna be publicized.
Well, trials and stuff should be public. The public should have a right to hear and all these things. If they,
I
you
just
know.
got a notification from your channel that we're alive.
Nice. Everybody who's just joining us now might have seen a notification. We're hanging out with HashBrown.
Hold on, let's see if I got mine.
That's funny.
You know,
Your face, bro.
you like that?
I like
It surprised me, real. I didn't know what it was gonna be, and it said "smile for a thumbnail," and it gave me like a 3-second countdown, and I was like, "Oh Lord," you know. But
Whipped it out, huh?
Yeah.
in the parlance of our time.
Hey man, give me an ass and titties over here.
So what else is going on? What else is going on in the
Gosh,
world?
I don't even fucking know.
I came prepared for that.
There's just a bunch of shit, man. Everything's fucked, I feel like.
I should have had pulled this up earlier.
Yeah.
It's the first live stream, so you know we're kind of getting it as we're going through it. You know, figuring out the
You
whole
wanna talk about
thing.
China?
I haven't heard much about China. What I have, let me tell you what I've heard about China. I saw. Now I'm not on Instagram or anything like that, so I don't really know too much about like the influencer world.
The only news I get
But-
is either from the radio or when you guys show me shit.
I have seen on YouTube different, and I assume them to be different Instagram influencers and one of the social media type influencers, but they're going in defense of China, saying there's no genocide, saying that people are happy, this and that, and they're all going, well, honestly, it was a really creepy video because not only are all these people going to the same spot, but in this one guy's video of this influencer, you know, he's just taking these dumb camera angles of himself. He's showing how people are happy, how they have food. He gets invited to some family's dinner. Invited. Meanwhile, if you pay attention to his video, you can see the same 5 different, I assume to be government handlers, literally following him. And it's one thing when he's going around through the tourist area, but when he goes to this family's dinner, you see them in the back rooms. You see 2 of them looking in through the windows, just standing there. These fucking Chinese government agents. And it's like, yeah, these people look real free and happy. You know, and so that's what I have seen. And so obviously I knew when this influencer was saying that there's not genocide, that people aren't going hungry, I was like, there's genocide going on. People are starving. You know, like, but I haven't heard really much about it. What's going on in China?
Well, it's just stuff that I've heard and seen is just people killing themselves.
Or like jumping out of their fucking apartment building.
All the
Due to
animals,
what? The
dogs
lockdown?
and cats are being
They're locked
yeah,
down again, right?
They're super locked down. Their fucking
They can't
doors
leave.
got welded shut.
Bro, I
If
had
they
heard that.
leave-
I had
fucking
heard that the
understand.
first time Corona was coming around. I saw videos of them going in these fucking dog kennel style apartment complexes and fucking welding doors from the outside.
Yeah, and so like supposedly like they have been like supposed to be bringing people food and shit, but they haven't been bringing people food.
Of course.
And fucking
killing the cats and dogs, all the animals that they're rounding them up and killing them.
Well,
in the most inhumane fucking ways,
clubbing them
dude.
to
not
death.
a, it's
Either
not
that
a
or just
strange
throwing
thing.
them into fucking bags and just leaving them on the fucking street like in big piles of bags to fucking starve to death.
It's not a new thing, I should say, because it wasn't the Great Depression here in America, but it was somewhere. I don't know if it was somewhere in Europe or whatever, but you know, there's these famous pictures of people selling their kids, and not selling them as workers, selling them as meat, selling them to eat. You know, yeah,
Damn.
like people were hungry like that. I think it was somewhere around like Russia or whatever, but I mean, it has definitely happened before, and it's savage. I that's not something I would do. I would much rather. I mean, a cat or a dog. Yeah, I could see eating if I was starving to death. Yeah, you're right. I would try and kill it in a humane way. I wouldn't tie it in a fucking bag and say, "Well, we're
do it the
steaming
same
it.
way you would
We're
fucking,
fucking steaming the
you
bitch."
would do it the same way you would fucking kill any animal that you were like hunting, you know? You fucking
Try and do it in a humane way.
yeah. If you have to, like get it like incapacitated,
What they're doing is
you know, and then fucking just put it out. But
I mean, still, no one's like really saying shit about it.
What's
Like, I even showed you, I think that like 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
So who even knows what's going on fuck now? Still haven't heard shit.
Who even knows? That is the crazy thing. You
Like
know?
if you got people killing themselves 2 weeks ago, how many people have killed themselves since then?
Biden's retarded.
I know. I think about that. A lot of times, you know, when Trump was president, I was like, this has got to be the dumbest motherfucker. There's no way they could ever elect anyone.
It's not that he's stupid, it's just that he's old and fucking senile.
Exactly. There's not. Let me say that I didn't think there was anyone who could make America look more dumb.
Okay, yeah. I
But
feel you on that.
now that Biden is president, I'm like, wow, you have really outdone
Yeah,
yourself.
no, Russia's fucking laughing at us.
The whole world is, man. I saw some SNL type thing from Saudi Arabia about, Biden and whatever. And I'm just like, man, dude. Man.
That's funny. The
You
Saudi
know,
Arabians are making
and
fun of Biden like
the
that.
scary thing to me is
That's
that
hilarious.
Well, we make fun
You
of other
know,
people.
we make fun of them all.
And
you
so of
know.
course,
I wouldn't find that. I don't guess maybe that's just a judgment of mine on that fucking culture. I didn't think that was like in
Neither
their
did I,
nature to
though.
have that type of humor.
Neither,
of
neither
fucking,
did I. You know,
just
I
to fuck with
were
us
funny.
like that.
Yeah. But
To take shots.
yeah, man. You know, it's like I hope that I hope that Kamala Harris doesn't become president. If they say, oh well, he's incapable of fulfilling the office. So this bitch who didn't even get nowhere near a third of the fucking votes is now gonna be president. You know, and she's a dumb bitch too. You know, they're all dumb. They're all corrupt. They're all, don't think I like any of them over the other.
Someone
it's-
on the radio was like, just let Biden chill back, he's done, he needs to go have a nap. Like, let Kamala come out and, her be the voice, at that point we can at least have a coherent argument and then expose her for all the fucking lies,
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That is at least the point at least you could.
she could make a sentence.
I don't know. I don't think things are gonna get better. At least that's my kind of
It
world.
just seems like they will
Like
get worse.
things in pockets might get better, and there is always that remnant. Happiness is something you find inside. It's not going to be found outside of ourselves. So looking towards the government to be honest, or to be like, you know what? High time we start caring about these poor people. It's like I don't think that's ever gonna fucking happen.
My gosh darn it, I think it's time we change. I think it's time we start caring about our people.
I know, and it's crazy because people, like when Trump was around, and people still are so enamored by him. It's amazing that anyone would put that much stock in a politician, into someone. Oh, we got a special guest joining us.
And it's not just now.
No, not just Maui. It's Nate Dogg. Nate
Have a
Dogg,
seat.
come have a seat
Other
here.
dog, Nate Dogg.
Hanging out with HashBrown.
Try to scoot in, make sure you're in the camera
We
shit.
got,
It's that shit that was
should
a
be
little-
good. Yeah, that chair was questionable, so this chair should be good. We're just talking about some things, hanging out. Most recently talking about the situation of, just Biden being dumb. We talked about Johnny Depp, China. Yep.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
Oh,
fly
it
on
could be a
shoulders, man.
distraction.
I can see that.
Like, why is it being pushed so much? Why is it everywhere?
Mhm.
It's all over my fucking phone, no matter where I go.
Publicizing
No matter
the
what I'm
trial
on,
of fucking
Johnny Depp,
Jeffrey
Amber.
Epstein's bitch.
Joe Rogan talking about it.
Everybody. And the thing that we said
Yeah,
is that
us
it's
talking
not
about
even
shit.
yeah. And it's not even a criminal thing.
It's
like,
working.
You know,
Right.
exactly.
They have the superpower.
But you know, it is so much easier to control us when we're all talking about the same things. When we're all reading the same little things encapsulated by the same dramas, you know, it is so much easier. You know, the Will Smith
Yeah, we talked
shit.
about the Will Smith
we
shit.
touched on that. Because I said, I'm like, you know, these are two fucking actors. How do we even know that this wasn't some drama ploy to keep us biting on to the next news story? You know, who knows? Because this is literally Will Smith's job, to act out a scene and make it look real and believable. It's perfectly within his capability.
Chris Rock.
You know,
the same
Chris
as well.
Rock as well. You know, it's
One. And haven't they been friends way
yeah.
back? Yeah,
They're all friends. You know, it's like,
Do they have a movie
I
together?
mean, who knows? I think probably.
Maybe. For some reason, the only thing that came to my mind was Madagascar. But I was like, Will Smith. That was just Chris Rock. Yeah.
Ben Stiller in it?
Is Ben
Yeah,
Stiller?
Ben Stiller was the one.
Yep.
Let's go.
What was the line's name?
Ben. Stiller.
Let's see.
Andy.
Marty.
Marty was the
Okay, so
zebra.
they were in a movie together. They were in a movie here. It says Torrance Rises, 1999.
Oh. Wait, Torrance?
Torrance Rises.
Torrance.
Torrance.
Mm.
Torrance, right? Okay. Who's Torrance?
Who the fuck is Torrance? And why is he?
They rise.
I don't want to know
Torrance is
anymore.
rising.
Yeah.
But how do we know them?
I don't know.
What-
I don't even know
what
who
is
the
he
fuck
rising?
Torrance
Let's see.
They'll bait you with this title.
That means he's getting a boner.
It's a mockumentary by Spike Jones. It's based on a dance group.
Those guys that wear white masks.
I guess, you know,
Jabberwockies?
precursor to that. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. I'm not a huge Spike Jones follower. I've seen a couple.
Spike Jones is.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
You never seen Malcolm X?
I was just talking to Gary about that the
Oh.
other day.
You don't know who Jabberwockies are?
I know who the Applewalkies are.
Yeah, they're sick as fuck. You don't know who they are?
Pretty cool.
I remember their first, like, when they were in that first dance show competition they did on TV.
Oh no, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Not the Alice in Wonderland thing. They
Yeah,
named
no, I have
themselves-
no idea what the
They
fuck you're
named
talking
themselves after that. They're kind of cool. I know who you're talking
They're a
about. They wear
dance,
white
they're a dance
masks.
group of, like, I think,
Like pop, lock, and drop it style.
9 men. And they're just dancers. They wear white masks. So they're
Choreography,
white mask.
plain,
really just
Like no
plain
face?
no.
Plain face.
I mean, it's got holes, it's got eye holes, but it's basic as fuck.
But it has like a nose and a just straight mouth.
Yeah.
Is it like some like Kingdom of Heaven shit?
Here, I'll just look a picture. up.
Here, boom, I got a picture.
That's why.
No,
Can you see that?
that's the Guy
Can you see
Fawkes
that?
mask, but I'm saying just like
Yeah.
Just like yeah, no, there's the king of Jerusalem in the movie Kingdom of Heaven is a leper and he wears like a iron mask
Yeah.
that's shaped like that.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Dope movie.
I used
Well,
to
the
watch.
director's cut.
I used to watch Man in the Iron Mask
I still haven't seen that one.
as a
That's
kid all the time.
I've heard of
That
it.
was my
Is it
first
DiCaprio in that
DVD.
one?
Yes.
Yeah. I should
When
watch
my
that.
family got its first DVD player, I can remember because we had one DVD. I used to come home from school and watch Man in the Iron Mask every day because it was
I
our
would watch-
DVD. It was, you know, I was like, oh, you know, we had so many VHS tapes. I had a bunch of Pokemon VHS. I remember shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
But no, when the DVD hit,
The stuff
You
I
know.
watched when I came home every day was like Roseanne.
hell yeah! I remember watching all
Friends.
those things. I remember watching TRL coming home from elementary school. TRL was a big thing on MTV.
We didn't have
Carson
CDs,
Daly.
so we just had DVDs, and we had the whole seasons of
Oh,
DVDs.
nice.
So we had like Roseanne, 9 seasons.
Damn.
Friends, whole seasons. Charmed, all 3 seasons, baby.
All 3 seasons.
I I think there was 3. Maybe there's only 1. I'm pretty sure there's 3. I watched that shit
My
now when I
boy's
was a
watching
kid.
good
Dude, when I was
television
a teenager, that was my shit, dude. Those 3 were hot as fuck, dude.
I can
Dude,
remember
I told
watching
you
all those
fucking,
WWE shows.
what is her name?
You told me.
Yeah, and Grindhouse, Planet Terror.
I never saw those.
Oh man, you
The bitch
missing out.
with the weapon leg.
Yeah, she got machine gun on her leg.
Does
She has no
No.
leg, like
They make fun of her in
no
Family
leg,
Guy.
it's a gun. So she just whips it around and just shoots people with
They
it.
make fun of her in Family Guy. Like,
Yeah. There's
yeah.
a thing about her.
I was never really big on. I mean, I can enjoy Family Guy. What I think killed Family Guy for me was the 9 other shows that were Family Guy with character X
Okay,
replaced in
so
Peter.
okay,
You know,
so
it's
okay, so the thing
Homer.
about Family Guy, the what?
okay.
That-
Well, I
okay,
guess
Simpsons
Simpsons was before that,
like
and,
way before.
and you know whatever. But
yeah,
you know
give
what I
credit
mean.
where
There were
credit's
so
due,
many.
that's kind of okay. So
shows.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's
South
the thing
Park
for me.
did an
The Cleveland show, I can't so much get on board with just because
No.
it overall really is not as good as Family Guy
It's not.
or American Dad, but there is a clear difference between Family Guy and American Dad in the
I mean,
sense
there
that the
is.
way that the shows are set up, because in Family Guy, the main thing that they center the comedy around is the cutaways and the flashbacks and shit. And
That's
so
true.
that's Family Guy's main
That's
thing. You don't
true.
have
That's
any of that
true.
in American Dad. It's all
That's
storyline.
true.
It's all just good, like puns and jokes and shit.
Okay. I
They just have different humor
I wrote it off
about
as
them.
all the same. That
They-
was,
they
and
have
that
different
was,
humor
thank you for
about
pointing
them
out the difference.
You gotta.
Well, I see, that's true.
I'm sorry. I'm a big fan of both of those shows. So, like I said, I can't really get on board with the Cleveland show, but of course.
It's
Anyway,
good, it's
sorry.
all right. I mean, it's just some of the characters in that show are like, I mean, they're like, alright, and they're good sometimes, but it's like overall, it's just like they're not.
I mean, I liked old Aqua Teen. You know,
That-
that
oh,
was my shit.
That was the shit.
Old
And
Aqua Teen
honestly,
Hunger Force,
I-
when you
I
made that
really
hand
don't
banana
like-
reference today, I was like, yes. Because I do that in my mind all the time. But I don't want people to just think I'm weird. You know?
Dude, I do it anyway. I go fun.
He said it to me.
I
and was
say
like,
some crazy
Freddie
shit all
has,
the fucking
Freddie has
time.
the card.
Sure.
I have no idea what the fuck this guy was
Wait, what card?
Give it that. The card to be weird and
Oh.
oh.
Well, everybody's got that card.
Yeah,
You
and
just
I mean
gotta
I'm
play it,
weird.
bro.
I'm weird. You
We
know,
all know it's okay.
you're suit to the bar kind of guy. You know,
Yeah, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
weird too.
that is weird. That's what I'm saying. You're that kind of weird.
Thanks.
Yeah, it is badass. It,
hard.
you know, but it's just I don't have that level to pull that kind of badass.
Yeah, you do.
You know, in a different
Totally
realm.
do.
In a different
no,
realm.
no, in this realm,
No.
you,
In
just
different
gotta,
light.
you just gotta have the confidence, man. You just gotta do it with confidence. You gotta,
Listen,
you gotta
guys,
fucking.
Like,
come
like,
on,
look
come
at
on, come on.
It's all about the confidence.
It's all
When I
about
walk
the
around
confidence.
all
Alright, okay.
pink in the Louis.
Oh my God, no.
It's all about
Let me
the
speaking of pink. Let me tell you a story real quick. Let me tell you a story real quick.
I've done pink. I used to have pink hair.
I'm a
I had
pink guy.
pink mohawk.
Me, pink and blue.
Pink is good. So back when I worked at a call center, I was dressing up every day, going in there, all fucking suited up, at least a fucking buttoned up shirt with
Wow.
a tie. And
I
fucking
was regular shirt and jeans. Kind
yeah,
of guy.
everybody else was, and one of my managers I remember was being like, "Dude, you gotta stop dressing better than me." I was like, "Well, shit, I fucking dress better, bro." But yeah, I fucking was talking to a couple of the people there, a couple of the girls who I worked with, and they were like, "Oh yeah," because I think I wore like a pink tie with like a shirt that has like a pink check on it. And I still got the shirt. I love the fucking shirt. But they're like, "Oh yeah, that's cool that you wear pink. Like a lot of guys wouldn't wear pink. Like more guys should wear pink. Like do your thing, And then a couple weeks later, I was out at the bar with this chick, and I was talking to her, and she was saying the same thing, and I was like, "That's funny that you say that. I was just talking to a few of my coworkers about that a couple weeks ago." And as I'm fucking saying this, dude walks into the bar wearing jeans, a white button-up shirt, fucking blue blazer, and a pink tie. And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "This motherfucker knows what's up. He's got the thing going on too." And I might have even pointed, And then two other dudes came in behind him, and they were both wearing black slacks. And they were bigger dudes, both wearing black slacks, black vests, white button-ups, same pink tie, right? And I'm sitting there still talking to this girl. A couple minutes later, excuse me, all three of these dudes come up to me and are like, "Hey, what the fuck? Heard you talking shit when I came in. Like, what the hell?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I heard you talking shit. Like, what about talking shit about my pink tie or some shit?" And I was like, "Oh no, man!" I was like, "I'm so sorry." And I told him what was up. And I ended up sitting there having a whole conversation with him and shit. Turns out that they were coming from a fucking wedding. And he was like, "Yeah, like, I try to, like, do, like, any kind of shit like this ever. Like, somebody's got to say something about it. You know, somebody's fucking, you know, saying some bullshit about it." And I told him the same thing. I was like, "Dude, you just got to fucking wear it with confidence, man. You just let them fucking shit
He's
roll
like, I
off
just
your
go and
shoulders."
beat their ass.
You
That's
said
what
something
I
about
do.
being pink. It was fucked up at first. I thought they were like coming from a club or something, and like I had like two bouncers about to fucking beat my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It is. No, I never been a fan of dressing up nice. I feel like I'm wearing a clown suit. I feel like it's just not me. You know,
I get that.
I'm like, I don't know what it is. You know, I mean, I have clothes I enjoy and whatever. And, you know,
Well,
I
you know,
mean,
whatever style is more comfortable. Is more comfortable with you. I'm comfortable. I feel very nice.
see, but I've never worn a suit. I mean, like maybe once I assemble one in Goodwill, we need to have a Goodwill
So
trip.
we do, cause I'll get you shit. But yeah, man, the whole reason I started doing that was just because
You got to dress for
I
success.
like, yeah, exactly. One, but I like the feeling of it. Like you ever see that episode of Bob's Burgers where he fucking has to go to court?
I heard they're coming out with a Bob's Burgers movie.
that.
Hey?
Pretty
Kira
fucking
told me
awesome.
that today.
Are they made by the same people that made the show then?
I assume.
Sure.
I assume.
hope
I
so.
think it's just like every other like TV movie.
I think it's a live action.
Anyway, so there's an episode where he borrows a suit from the mortician next door to go to fucking court, and like everyone just treats him different and like better the whole time that he's wearing the suit, you know, as opposed to out with his fucking stained shirt and apron. And that really is a fucking thing.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
know it.
And so like I did it originally because I was, you know, working at a call center. I wanted to dress nicely, make an impression, dress for success. And then I just liked the way that I wasn't stared at like a fucking crazy motherfucker who was gonna fucking rob or shoot up the place whenever I fucking walked into a store, you know. It was, I got respect just for no reason, you know, and it really helps having this face and this hair.
Oh, I can believe that. I can believe that.
So that's why I continue.
I don't know. I always enjoyed the alternative style, you know, of like, it was honestly one of the things that kind of made me friends wanted to dress like punks or goths, because
Sure.
that's what I was super into. You know, I was like,
Yeah, all my friends are into that.
none of my friends were into that. And, I mean, it's, you know, I would tell them all the time that they were all really punk rock, you know, more than they had ever known, because of the ideals that they had and just the, you know, the ways that they didn't give a fuck about things, you know. But yeah, man, you know, none of my friends wanted to do color hair or, you know, these kind of things.
Well, I mean,
and
ultimately, that is the most fun.
that is,
you know,
that is,
'Cause
and
it's
that's
like,
what
why
I
would
told
you
them.
waste money and like
What,
feed
trying to
money
wear
the
some
fucking
uniform,
machine?
you know, become some
Yeah,
poser, you know, and I recognize that, but you know what, I was that poser in my heart. I wanted to wear all black. I wanted to, you know, paint my nails and wear the makeup and, you know, the chains, the belts, all that. I enjoyed all that. That was dressing up to
I
me.
used to wanna
That
do
was
that, you know?
dressing up to me. Now I'm like, I'm too fat for my skinny jeans. You know, when I noticed I started looking older is every time I put on eyeliner and I started looking like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
I was like, man, when you transition from looking punk rock to looking pirate, you know that you're getting older. You
See,
know,
I feel like
it's
I always looked pirate.
you do look pirate. I imagine you came out of the womb looking for like, you know, it's
Knife in your mouth.
same piercings, you know. It's,
When's our birthmarks then?
yeah. I'm thinking about doing a big year. I wanted a big year.
Oh, big year.
I don't know if you guys at home or in the classroom know what. 'Cause I always make for I'm
Yeah, what is a big year?
a big year is bird watching. I'm
Are
trying
you
to see
talking
as
about,
many
like,
fucking
get
birds.
all the fucking birds.
Get all the birds. Gotta catch them all.
Okay.
Through my fucking binocular.
He's gonna do it, bro. He's
You
gonna
know,
get them all.
And
He's gonna come back. He's gonna be like,
I've-
all of us got it.
yeah, I've talked with my wife about it. She's not particularly on board yet. But I've already taken out the loan. I've already taken out the loan.
That's where
Because I
the
said, listen,
distraction
Exactly.
power would help.
Do not get anything in my way. You know, I booked a flight out to Alaska because I say if I go furthest north, spot the birds. I can make my way down cheaper. You know, rather than bounce here, bounce there.
Plus, if you're
You know?
if you're
Come
doing
on.
it at the beginning of the year, well, no, if you're doing it in spring, at
I'm
the
doing
end of
it in-
spring,
Yeah.
right? And you go through, then you can follow the birds back down south through their migration down south for the winter.
Like the Disney movie of the girl who found the goose.
Oh, Flying Wild.
Yes.
No.
With the Full House guy.
No, let me take that back. It was not Flying
It
Wild.
was Take Me Home or something.
It was
like
Fly
that.
Away Home.
Yes, I knew it was home something.
However, I have, I'm pretty sure it's still in my possession somewhere. So my family's got it somewhere, I think. A copy of, if they don't have it, I vividly remember this. A copy of Jumanji on VHS. And the trailer for that movie, we used to call them previews. The trailer for that movie was on that VHS, and the movie title on that VHS for that movie was Flying Wild. I shit you not.
I can believe it. You know, we have a gang of VHS tapes. Our VHS TV broke when we moved down here, but it was all we used to have, and honestly, I loved it. When because you know VHS were so great that you could just pop one in, it plays, and then it rewinds, and it stops.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to listen to this or you know, are you
A
still
fucking
watching it? You know,
DVD menu for
Yeah.
a fucking hour.
it's like you know, but we have a lot of the old Disney ones, but I enjoy watching all the previews and stuff like that.
yeah,
like,
no. It's a
because
nostalgic thing.
it's a time capsule.
Yeah.
You
for
know, releasing June 1993. You know, and it's some fucking bullshit, and you know, you're like, oh, this movie really was
Coming
trash.
summer 1995,
Yeah, you know, it's like-
fucking Lion King, you
Yeah.
know, like what?
I love seeing like shit like that, like the VHS. I'm like, man, this was out before Lion King was even out in theaters.
Yeah, like
You
that's
know,
crazy.
We have a
I'm
bunch of
pretty
those
sure that's
Black
on
Diamond
the Aladdin.
classics.
The Aladdin VHS was the preview for Lion King. I'm
We
pretty
have
sure.
we got I think almost all of those Black Diamond classics. We went out and got them
yeah.
like you know just through thrift stores and shit, and they're in a crate. We still
Yeah, I
have
had a
them.
few before they even started doing it. I think. I'm pretty sure. It could be a mistake.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they all are.
But you know, I don't know. I do enjoy having hard copies of things. I think that the way that we're moving into the streaming lifestyle, no hard copies of your music, no hard copies of your
Yeah,
movies.
I don't like that.
You
I
know,
don't like that.
Because
Okay,
it could easily be taken away like
The predicament me and my girl are in right now. Her old Amazon account that she used to have for school, we have on our TV. Through that Amazon account, we've bought all the Lord of the Rings movies extended edition, all the Hobbit extended editions, a bunch of Studio Ghibli movies. But we no longer have the password to that. She can't log into her old school email. So right now that Amazon account is only on this TV. Yeah, and so even though I paid the price for those movies and everything, I'm gonna have to buy them again. But at least one day, you know. And yeah, it's just that with the whole streaming and whatever, like, you know, I still buy some CDs if it's an album I really enjoy. You know, really if it's something that I want to really expose to Lane. I remember a big moment for me as a kid, because my dad was always into music, but when I first went through his old CDs, he had like a big laundry basket, full of just CDs of all kinds of music. And, just going through that. It was kind of like a bonding behind the scenes moment for me, because I was like, this is some of my dad's music that he's had before I was born, or whatever it may be. But and I wanted Lane to have a similar experience. I mean, what's he gonna do? Oh, get my Casa ID and go through, like, I don't know. I'm gonna go grab another drink. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes, sir. Shit, man. Yeah, dude. I do really want to get back to like bar top and shit.
Yeah, now that I think about it like that, yeah, definitely. Because I was definitely down to just start, like all my games and shit that I play, it's all online.
Bro, fucking
Yeah,
I
it's
have
different.
that
You have your house.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I feel like, technically I'm saying, like, if it's digital, it can be taken away.
Yeah.
Like, I have it, but technically, like
even
they
if
have
something-
all the power
even
to
if
remove it.
Yeah, but even if like something goes down and like they have no more power to like do what they're doing,
I don't have that.
So
Like, not even just to have, like, a whole, voltage.
motherfucking, I have an SD card in my phone that has all of my fucking music on it, right? And a couple weeks ago, my phone started saying, "Oh, can't write to SD card, can't read SD card or whatever." So now I got this SD card with all my fucking music on it, and my phone can't even fucking. Like my album is on there. You know what I mean? Like it's online right now, but shit. I still don't even know if there are any actual hard copies of the laptop. Maybe I could. I think the fucking thing would make it bigger. You know
What are we talking about?
what I mean? Stick thing.
Can you put a SD card?
And now I can't fucking read it from my fucking phone.
Mm.
You other things about that?
I don't know. I kind of just let shit be with this phone. It's kind of fucked. I should be. I think next month I should be due for an upgrade. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see about that.
I recently have put my mother-in-law on my phone plan. There are stages in your adult life. There really are stages in your adult life, and I remember a big step for me.
Love you, bro.
A big step for me was when I first got my own plan, paying my own bill, this and that. And the next step was when I went from, I got like a legit phone. I was making good money at the time out in Denver, so I moved from Metro to a real company, to Verizon. I could afford it then, but that was a big moment. But I was like, okay, but now I have crossed the next threshold. Now I have a family plan. I really have moved through the steps now. I used to belong to a family plan. Now I'm the provider on the family plan now.
You're the head of the house.
Exactly. If my mother-in-law gets out of line, I can stop her data. Like that. All right? It's...
It's perfect.
Yeah.
You're acting up. No doubt.
It is.
That is some serious power, though.
It is. No, but it's.
Use it wisely.
It is a crazy thing, man. Because oftentimes I like to have a conversation in my head with me 5 years ago. Not really a conversation. We just kind of look at each other in passing. And we catch a glimpse of each other and examine our lives. And the me of where I was 5-6 years ago, wow. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe now 5-6 years ago I was on the path to better myself. I had put a couple things down. But I do think about past versions of myself and personal growth and where my life has taken me. Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's an interesting thing. Would you say that you came from a child or you were a child? Like, did you come from being a teenager into your 20s, or were you in your 20s and now you're, you know, or whatever it may be?
I mean, I still feel like a kid sometimes, you know. I'm
Yeah.
still fucking
You're
up
still
with
that same person,
dumb
and
shit.
that's why we say that.
To myself, literally today when we were in the warehouse, we were doing so, I was like, dude, I feel like I'm just like a 14-year-old. I was like,
I mean, sometimes, yeah, kind of.
You know, sometimes I try and remember what it was like before I was diabetic, what my body felt like inside, because I do remember that there was the difference is that a lot of what goes on now inside my body wasn't a thing. These constant aches and pains and stabbings and all sorts of fluctuations that go on throughout my day inside my body were once not even a square inside my mind of a room that I could enter into and exist. And now that I do exist inside that room in my mind, you know, and that's what I mean as far as looking back at myself, the ways that I've changed, you know, because I've only been diabetic for, I guess, almost 10 years. I've been diabetic for 8 years. And, I don't know, it's crazy. It is weird.
I mean, I wish I could, like, relate.
No, I know you can't. I know you can't.
I kind of get what you're saying with, like, looking back at yourself and shit. And, like...
Well, do you still feel those ways inside?
Well, see, that's the
when you
thing.
say that you
Okay,
felt
so
like
see, that's the
14
thing. So
today,
see, that's
what
the
do you
thing.
mean by
That's
that?
the thing. What do you mean by that? Because I fucking... When I, like, remember memories, when I, like, picture them in my mind's eye and, like, go through that memory in my mind, you know, I think about how I felt physically and, like, how I was perceiving the world around me at that time, and it literally, like, in the memory does feel totally different than
Who
I
you
do
are now.
Yeah.
No, I agree to that. And that is a lot of what I'm talking about.
What exactly that is. I'm not sure what it is that
It's
causes
growth.
that. Sometimes every once in a while, and I remember I used to get it in one spot in my house when I was growing up in high school, during not even during the winter time, but during the time when it first started to turn cold. Like when the first few fucking cold fronts of fall started coming in. And I could never linger on it. You know what I mean? I would just have to walk past it. But every time I walked past that spot in my house, I got this whiff of some sort of smell that just took me back, and just for like a millisecond, I felt that same
And
way
smells
that
do
I
that.
did.
I have a
know?
smell like that. I have a smell that will take me back to my kindergarten classroom. And it's a distinctive smell, and it's almost of a plastic.
Yeah.
Because it's these toys that we would fucking play with, and it just it's almost a Play-Doh-ish, it's not everyday type of plastic, but when my nose comes across it, that's where I place it. In that classroom, playing with the little kitchen set. You know, no, but what I was saying about as far as like coming from a child, you know, or like, well, I was a child.
Yeah.
I still am that same person.
I still feel like a
You know,
child.
but I am now
Dude,
become.
big fart jokes
Well, yeah,
and shit.
okay, but I'm saying
We
like
were laughing at a fucking
you were a
duck
child,
fart.
then became an adolescent,
Fucking
then
child.
became a teenager. You know, those kind of things. It's not like you were a child, and then the child had a teenage or an adolescent, and then the adolescent, you had a, you know,
You grew.
you grew. But when does that start? You know, that growing process. Is it only when we establish consciousness? Is it only when we establish memory that these kind of things come in? And I know that these are like kind of deep. So I feel
Okay,
like
so if you, I understand if you want to get deep, I'm totally down.
I don't want to get deep.
No,
I want
I'm
to stay
totally
shallow.
down. I'm totally
I
down.
want to
dude.
stay on Will Smith.
No, because fuck that shit. I would rather talk about some
Johnny
real
Depp.
ass shit. Because if you're talking about like consciousness and shit like that, you've got to understand that we, as human beings, have a brain that perceives space-time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? As well as the decay of biological things over that time. And motherfucking
Well, talking about space and time.
the
Space time.
Okay.
You know, because what we now understand to be, thanks.
I mean, let me finish real quick. The growth, to answer your question, the growth or perceived growth starts as soon as that organism is conceived, because it grows from a zygote. It grows from two.
You're saying through the whole process.
I'm sorry, two zygotes into one embryo that grows into a fucking human that continues to grow and grow.
So you're saying, well, I agree with you.
But we also have the conservation of energy. So once a human dies, decomposers like worms and microbes and other bugs.
Well, you see that statement, it does surprise me. It does surprise me.
Circle of life.
Well, that's the same way. No, I mean, I'm saying that because I feel the same way that you do. That from the beginning, from this zygote, from this,
I'm sorry, I misused it. It's two different zygotes make one embryo. Egg is a zygote.
Exactly. When the two have became one, it kind of starts on that journey. That's just something I've been thinking about. But space time I've also been thinking about. An interesting thing, and it has to do with these creatures that we are that. Just trying to wrap our heads around that, the fact that we are in fact existing in more than 3 dimensions, and we're,
It's
fucking
crazy.
it's crazy.
When you really think about shit, it is crazy.
Dude, it gets nuts when you
To think
start
about
to
how
think about
people
not
lived in
only
the
the
past,
things
how
that are
little they
happening
know.
on
How
this
they
planet,
did
but the things that are happening just like out in the cosmos.
It's it is crazy, man. And there's just like,
People
with
in
the
past
time,
were
yeah,
lucky.
exactly.
so
With the
fucking
time that we live in and how
The
much-
motherfuckers that just built a tent and then like, oh, gotta find some water, gotta find fish, and that's
And
all
can
they
you
did.
think about
compared to now, dude, it's
I mean,
Okay,
shit.
okay.
space.
How lucky are you gonna
Okay,
be?
not lucky.
Yeah,
but
but
How lucky am I gonna be? How lucky am I gonna be when I build a little shitty tent and I try to have a woman in there and Dylan comes in there, rips down my tent, beats the living shit out of me, and takes
Dylan
my
and the rest
woman.
of his 40 banded men.
Okay,
And it's
not
like,
lucky, but like, I meant like, it was way more simpler.
it was simpler,
Oh, yeah.
but what's
What time are we
interesting
talking
is that
about? Even during like the 1600s, I feel like they still had like this idea. We still had like those people that were still like think about this.
I feel like through all of
space,
time.
like time, it's like there was definitely.
Oh my
those
gosh,
people-
when was the fucking telescope invented? That was in like
Early, I feel like.
the
But-
that was before the 1400s, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, but you know what? There are
Yeah,
some
I think
people.
Galileo invented the telescope.
There are some
When
people
was
who
he alive?
believe that.
When was Galileo alive?
I
'Cause
keep
I'm pretty
forgetting I have
sure
a
he
computer
invented the
right here.
telescope. Pull it up.
Those rats.
When was telescope invented?
Was it Galileo?
1608. Not absolutely accurate. Hans Lipperheim.
Hans Lippenheim?
Hans
That's the guy who
Lippenheim.
made
Hans
ketchup.
Lippenheim?
Yeah.
He made ketchup.
Is who's being credited here.
He must have made the telescope after making that ketchup bottle. He was probably looking at him.
Yeah.
I gotta see the ketchup in there.
Look at that shit. No,
He's like,
but it
"Dude,
was.
that's magnified."
It was okay. I'm gonna put something on y'all that you may not have known. Have y'all heard about Gulliver's Travels?
Of course.
Okay.
Absolutely,
Okay.
dude. I love that
So
movie growing up.
Gulliver's Travels. Well, let me see. When was it written?
I wanted to read the book.
Well,
The Disney version of it was awesome, and there was another version that they put on like a mini series. I can't remember on what fucking channel, But dude, that one was badass too, because I'm pretty sure it was accurate with the book almost, because it went through
1726.
like all
Let
the
me see it.
fucking shit.
It went through all the fucking shit.
It's not. I'm talking about the book here, right? So the book was written in 1726, and it was originally written as a political satire. Now it's just became a fable to us in our day because we've lost connection with the political sense, from then. So it's whatever.
Was it written? Who was it written by? Was it?
It was written by Jonathan Swift.
Is that an American
Um,
or an Englishman?
The first one, probably.
I don't fucking know.
Okay.
Irish, Anglo-Irish writer.
Oh, okay.
So, anyways, in this book, it mentions Mars having 2 moons. And, it mentions a couple of these guys in this book, they're bragging about having the knowledge that Mars has 2 moons. Now, so this was written in 1726. When was it discovered that Mars had 2 moons?
Yeah.
So when was it discovered that Mars had 2 moons? 1877. Almost 100 years later, it was discovered that Mars had 2 moons. So you have to say to yourself, because one of these moons is almost black, almost has no reflection. Well, let's take the whole scope of what we know of history into, how many cultures fear Mars, the god of war, this and that. Well, let me tell you, in 1701 BC, all ancient civilizations, and we have many different records of this. One of these records is in the Bible. That's why I know about this, is because it's like, well, why did they change their record in 1701, their calendar? I mean, all the calendars changed, and it wasn't just the Hebrew calendar that changed. All these ancient cultures changed their calendar in 1701. Well, if you dig into that,
Wait, what do you mean ancient cultures?
I mean, Greece, and
So wait, what do you mean they changed their calendars in 1701?
Like on that.
calendars were all centered around a 360 day. And now we know, the Romans and everything, they were changing, adding their months or whatever. But in 1701, something happened that apparently happened around the world. There's no direct mention of why
So you're saying
everyone,
that Greece was using an old calendar up until 1701.
a bunch of these cultures.
So something happened, and all
Something
of them were like,
happened, and in 1701 you find that yes, all these cultures are now their calendar changes, and there's even some decree in the Bible of the king. I think it was Hezekiah.
Oh, wait, we're talking BC.
We're talking BC.
Okay, sorry.
We're talking
fucked up.
BC.
Okay.
Of that their calendar changed.
That's important.
A long time ago. Okay, so and we know that even before then, there were all these Mars, the god of war, all these, even the Aztecs are have been supposed to, Mars was one of their gods and this and that. Well, we can see Mars today from our sky and this and that. I've never looked up when I look at Mars, and we have a pretty good view from where we are, and saw it as threatening or anything like that. I couldn't really.
It's pretty.
Well, what scientists, some scholars believe, and they believe that there's evidence for this, is that their orbits change. Earth and Mars, they're on what's called a resonating orbit. And before that orbit was in resonance, that they used to have a pass by almost twice a year. And because of that pass by, all kinds of chaos would go on in the fucking world from being so close to a planet that fucking large. And we're talking asteroids, we're talking different
Oh, yeah, 'cause the gravity pull.
geomagnetic shit.
They'd
You
be
know,
pulling
yeah,
each other.
all kind that these ancient people who you said already didn't know shit, all kinds of more shit is freaking out now when this huge thing that they could obviously see with no pollution, no light pollution, you know, they could definitely see something, you know, so well it's believed that it had this different orbit, and when it became in resonance, it has established the order we're in today. But there's evidence of it in the Bible, but you know it's listed as an act of God because it's in one of these wars that's going on that, well, God rains fire from heaven, which in the way that this story is written, we could essentially understand it as a fucking meteor shower coming down and obliterating this fucking army. You know, is essentially like, you know, worse luck on Tuesday type shit. You know, and some scholars would say, well, Mars used to be different, and it could have had something to do with that because that's right when the calendar changes. But you see this other evidence in the world. Now, did the guy who was writing Gulliver's Travels know that Mars had two moons? Probably not. It was probably some old wives' tale that had been passed down through these you know, like we have those little tidbits of information that come down and they get turned into some saying, or who knows. But, you know, he wrote this book 100 years before they discovered those two moons. So you're like, well, how did they then see those two moons?
You know, maybe he was, or he knew someone who was a Mason.
Could have been.
My papa was a Mason.
Could have been. And I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that at all. That's a very interesting conjecture, my friend. I think that is. I think that's very possible. Well, they hold the secret knowledge.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to speak on Illuminati for a second, you know that new Doctor Strange movie coming out? Multiverse of Madness? Yeah. You know that first trailer we watched, like, probably like a month and a half ago? It looked kind of cool. We came out with a new one a couple of days ago. And they decided to do a little bit with the Illuminati in it.
Yeah.
I think that's a little late.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. The trailer hasn't been it. And I was just like, why did that? There's no
Well, you
reason
know,
for this to be in here.
That a big thing I believe, and it could be my paranoid mind.
I think I know what you're gonna say. And
I
for
think
sure.
that some of these elite groups, I believe that the way that they believe their magic works and those type of things is that they need to make this secret public knowledge. Everything they do, they need to make a public declaration. They put it in your face. They get
it's
you
like
to
they can't
accept it.
actually do it unless they tell you that they're doing it. There
Exactly.
has to be disclosure. They have
Exactly.
to tell you.
And through, especially superhero movies, but a lot of these movies that are, I mean, there's a lot of brainwashing in horror movies and this and that. Action movies are like top tier, but mainly superhero movies because it is like, there's something about, you know,
Bro, have you ever seen the movie Contagion?
I heard about it when the
That
Corona
came out
thing
in
came out.
2013.
And it was like exactly
they
like
might
the
as well
fucking,
have called it COVID-19. it was the exact same fucking scenario, like down to a T. Like the virus was a little bit more serious in the movie, obviously, but like down to a fucking T, dude.
Well,
it was exactly.
does it ring any bells of 9/11? What are the odds that literally the day of 9/11, they're having a training scenario of the exact scenario that's happening?
Same thing happened with the Sandy Hook shooting, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? No, I don't want to say anymore because it will get me cooked off. But you know what? When the cameras are off, we can talk about the SH. And let me tell you, I am so glad that me and my girl watched a video, because there used to be all kinds of information on YouTube, and then Google bought it.
It's
But
not on there anymore. I haven't looked in years.
no.
I watched,
The last time I
I've
saw
watched
anything
No.
on it,
And
the last
listen,
time
let's
I
not
really
talk
saw
a lot about
anything
it.
on it was back in, I want to say 2012, 2013.
That's
So probably around not too
Well,
long after it happened.
we saw a couple of things, and I'm glad that she saw it, because now they'll tell you that that wasn't real. They'll tell you that what we saw was not real. And well, we watched it. We both watched it, and it's almost like a Mandela effect type scenario, except it's more, it's even less under
hey,
the rug.
hey, Berenstain or Berenstein, bro?
Berenstein.
Oh my
Berenstein.
God! Thank you.
I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
from the unplugged.
Oh God!
You know, I
damn
don't know
it.
what happened.
I don't know either.
You know,
I have no idea.
the Mandela effect is an interesting thing.
It really is an interesting concept.
It you know, and I mean, because to me it does bring in these thoughts of space time, and you know,
Well, the whole theory behind it is that people are time traveling and they're possibly changing things in the past that's altering our reality now.
but what's different about you and me, and then the other people who don't remember any change? What's the difference that me and you are from one dimension, and have we been brought to another dimension, or who crossed over into what? Where did the meld go? Because now there are people on two sides of the fence. There's people from one dimension who remember them a certain way, certain things, certain, you know, life is like a box of chocolates.
Dude, this
You know,
girl really
it's-
questioning shit like about that, like who
Interview
crossed
with a
over,
vampire.
Who crossed over and like where the melt happened? Because I was talking to this chick and she was talking about how, excuse me, the fucking right side of the sink is hot and the left side is cold. And she was like, "No, down where I'm from, like it's all like that." And I was like, "Are you sure?"
Is she from
Like,
fucking
it's
Australia?
fucking like that everywhere. You know, no. She's from Florida. But yeah, fucking.
You must be from a bad neighborhood, dog.
I'm not
No.
gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna say who she is. But yeah, dude, fucking goddamn, like I had like I'm like no, it's left, and I even showed
to
her
you
that
younger
fucking,
guys,
that Tech 9 song where E40 is on there, and he's like, oh, people they hate me because I'm hot like the left sink handle, you know, like hot's on the left, cold's on the right. That's how it always is.
oh,
That's how
okay,
it's
yeah.
always been.
Sorry, that confused me.
Yeah.
for a second. I was like,
Sorry,
I almost
things
split sides from it. No,
E40, he
Yeah.
ends his verse, he says, I'm lit like a candle and they hate me because I'm hot like the left sink handle.
well, there's a lot of things that I feel like have been that also clip dimension with us, you know. But are you guys familiar with the Mandela effect? Yes, Nate, you somewhat. It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing, and it's a curious thing, because yeah, I always ask the question of what. Hey,
To me, I
do
think
not do that.
it's as simple as maybe just
I was gonna say sorry.
it's something that was not that important in people's lives and they just forgot and they just thought of it one way.
It could
I
be.
mean,
It could be, and on a lot of levels, it seems very subtle. But, you know, in the
Bro.
Bible, there is a change. And it's a famous, the audacity is because it's a famous, well, there's actually, honestly, there's many changes with the translations, and I don't want to get into it, but have you ever heard the statement, the lion shall lay with the lamb?
The lion shall speak.
You know,
No, I have not heard that, sorry.
well, it's a famous saying. I mean, I remember hearing my grandparents saying it, and it's embroidered on little things, you know, with those. I don't know what kind of little porcelain, fucking I don't know. Yeah, there's some sort of these Christian caricatures. I don't know. They're little kids. I don't know what the fuck
Oh,
they are.
the
They're like
Precious
blonde
Moments.
little kids.
The
Yes,
Precious Moments
those
kids.
kids.
Yes.
It's on that type
Oh my
of shit,
gosh,
bro.
my mom used to
You will
get
see-
me and my
yeah.
sister those coloring books.
The
and shit when we were
you know,
years
the
old.
lion shall lay with the lamb. It's like, you know, it's a famous line, but and I don't even want to get into it because you know what? That's
what? Let's get into it. We're already on the subject. Come on now.
so
Don't be like that, man. Come on.
well, it's changed to the wolf shall lay with the lamb. totally different connotation.
Yeah, that's a wolf is different than a lion.
A wolf is much different,
A wolf hunts very
especially
different than a
especially
lion.
in a biblical connotation.
Yeah.
Because you see, in it's interesting.
A
You
wolf
had
in
said
sheep's
something
clothing.
earlier. You had said something earlier.
And that's so funny because that's what my sister used to say whenever I would suit up, and I told her like that's why I'm fucking hunting and shit. And she says, oh yeah, she's like you gotta be a wolf in sheep's clothing, and that's exactly what she fucking said, bro. That's so funny.
I don't know. You know, there's all these little things, and what you have to watch out for. Well, okay, so you had said something earlier about. God, I knew I should have brought it up there.
I'm sorry.
No, it's Well, you see, I asked myself, as a believer, and this is just my point of view. I say, okay, God, if you want me to believe that you did create the universe and everything in it, surely you would be able to get a message to me. You would be able to get a message to, I mean, if you created literally DNA and the human eye, you have no problem getting a message to mankind, but how do you authenticate it? How does the message, how do I know what is being said is exactly? Is that it's beyond man.
It's faith. That's what you were talking about.
Oh, I've seen it now. It starts with faith. Faith is the seed I have to start with, to ask such questions, to give myself enough trust to find an answer.
Yeah.
But I have now seen it proved mathematically, and all these. I mean, yes.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about the Mandelbrot set and shit?
I'm talking about heptadic structure. A sevenfold structure.
Oh, okay.
There's a video.
Doesn't that be septatic?
It's the guy that breaks
Heptatic.
it down, right? That one guy.
That's 7 and 7.
Well, so then I ask myself, okay, the message that God has given us is the Bible. Of all languages, he chose to write it in Hebrew. And now there's a difference between what the Old Testament was written in, the ancient Hebrew, and modern Hebrew.
Yeah.
And when you start to look at this language, it really, I mean, for me, and I can't put it into so many sentences. You know, there's nothing I can do or say that'll convince you guys, because it's hard for me to wrap my mind around. I'm still trying to put it so my mind can, you know, get it, so that I can send it to you. But it's so amazing, this language and the things that were written and this book that is truly trans-dimensional. And when I say that, I mean that it must be originated from a source outside of our time dimension. And you can prove it mathematically. With mathematic structure, it can be, and bro, and I will send you the videos.
The videos that I've only listened to like 2 of them, and he's only gone like in depth on like a couple of parts, but like it is crazy to like listen to this guy break down
crazy.
things
And
and be like,
Okay, that's definitely
it's
something
interesting.
I'm interested
It's
in.
very interesting.
Let me just say that I don't necessarily want to get too deep into a religious
Hold on,
thing.
rewind 5 seconds. And we can get deep. We can, as long as it's about Will Smith, we can get deep. All right. But the minute it gets too deep, the minute I can't
I'm
touch,
just saying,
The
Okay. Let me rephrase that.
The minute I can't feel the bottom, I'm out, dog.
Let me rephrase
I'm out.
that. I want to keep this content
Right.
fresh.
And all
I want
right,
to keep it
and
fresh.
I am.
don't want to keep talking about
I
the same
know,
things that we've
because
talked
I
about in
didn't
previous podcasts.
I didn't want to get on this, but
But let me tell you, because we talked about those things in
the other
that
podcast,
last podcast, I'm
which
not
by
sure,
the way, go look up.
I'm not sure if Cam wants me to. Yeah, go ahead and plug it real quick.
I forgot Cameron's username on YouTube. I'll link it in the description below. Go ahead and.
I think it's like Ludwig.
It is. It's
something.
like Ludwig 42 or 92.
642.
Something
Ludwig
like that.
642, something like that. I don't know.
It'll be linked in the description below. I will find it. And get on there. Go ahead, subscribe to my boy. No, but what I was saying is because I come from that worldview.
No. What I was saying. Sorry.
That's good.
And I'm not sure if Cam wants me to say this, but I'm going to anyway because he's. I don't know.
He gets uncomfortable
I'll
when
go
I talk
ahead.
about it?
No, I'll go ahead and say it. He's mad at me right now for stupid reasons and whatever. But so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this. Fuck you, Cam. Love you. I'm just.
He's
playing.
the one person watching.
I'm still gonna drop this though. I'm still gonna
He
drop
just
this.
left. Yeah.
I'm still gonna drop this. But fucking, he was talking to me the other day, and he was talking about because of all that shit. He heard about something. I don't know if it was like you being sick or somebody going through some fucking weird shit. I don't know, but he like woke up and prayed like he used to back in the day. He
Praise
said,
God.
and
Praise
he
God.
was like, it felt really good. And I was like, that's dope. And then I was telling him about how like just because of like having these conversations with you, I'm like so much more conscious and so much more reminded. Like once again, not so much. I guess it is what you would call the Holy Spirit, what I would call the Force. You know, reminded of that so consciously, and like as the wind blows, you know, and I just have this like different feeling and
Well, that's
different
the
consciousness
thing.
in the moment.
And-
You know,
and see, I'm glad you said that,
It does
'cause that
make
ties-
me feel differently, not like I used to, but differently than I do now for just a moment when I soak into it. You know.
That ties exactly into what I was going to say. So, because I come from that worldview, and I believe the Bible is true, well, the first thing it says about the enemy, and when you study the first interaction we have with the enemy, he is the most subtle beast of the field. Not a very subtle beast of the field, not a excellently subtle beast of the field, the most subtle beast.
Snake in the grass. Serpent.
And so we look at all these subtleties that have changed, and we look at, you know, these different things and the distractions that we are fed. And just like you were saying just now, it begs me to ask the question, what is real? What am I really investing my time in? You know, I was telling Dylan, when I was sick this past week, I just kind of laid in bed, I played video games, and which I enjoy doing, and I have no problem with. But I did feel a bit like, man, I could have invested my time rather than spend my time.
See, that's
You
why
know
I like
what I mean?
crafting. That's why I'm not a big gamer. That's why I like crafting.
Well, but then I ask again, what's real? What is what am I really?
See,
What's
that's
really going to
why
take
I like
investing
crafting,
time?
Because it is real. It's something tangible.
It's material.
That you have a fucking.
It's
end
material. I'm more
fucking
than that.
product.
Let me get spirit food. I am so
Okay,
hungry
okay.
for this esoteric milk. I know
You gotta
that
meditate.
and that's what I do in the Word. I know that I am more than 3 dimensions. Why does the world keep feeding me 3-dimensional shit? You know, there's a part in the Bible that I don't hear preached on enough. It's a famous part. Y'all probably know it. When Jesus was tempted by the devil, one of the things that the devil offered Jesus, he said, I will give you, he showed him all the kingdoms of the world. I think that implies trans-time travel, at least. I mean, these are obviously higher than 4th-dimensional creatures. And there's a whole study we could do on that.
That's the whole theory
But
behind.
Satan is not Jesus' brother. He's not omnipresent. You know, it's that's without getting too deep.
Well,
Without
just,
getting too
just to
deep.
say, that's the whole theory behind like Jesus being gone in the Bible for all those fucking years. Like he was in Tibet with the monks meditating and reaching Christ consciousness is what it's referred to by a lot of people. You know, that's why he was called Jesus Christ.
Messiah is what that is a translate of. Christ. That's a title, you know, and it just means Messiah. In the Greek, it's it's Mashiach. You know,
maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm just talking shit.
No, but my point, without getting too deep, because we could expound on this, and I would love to, because there are things that identify that say that we as believers will be as he is, but that's a whole. Without getting too deep, like I said. So, Satan showed Jesus all the kingdoms of this world, and Jesus said, "What good is it to gain the world and forfeit your soul?" Now, Jesus didn't question his ownership. You know, I mean, this world is Lucifer's world. He owns all these kingdoms, all these places that we inhabit in this third dimension. So when I see these distractions, when I see these things and whatever, you know, I look in my personal life. The devil wants you to think that you're so small, that you're so insignificant, that you're just literally a random accident. The whole universe was a random accident. You're in fact just a cause of it with no purpose, no, you know, anything to diminish you.
That you have a place, God has set a place for you in heaven. He's already got it set
Yes.
aside, and He's already planned big shit for you here on earth even before that. And the things that you want, the things that you desire are minuscule and are dwarfed by the plans that He has for you. I'm pretty sure is one of the teachings.
No, that is, and some people argue they want to say that well, that's only for the Jews. They say when God made that promise, it's called dispensationalism.
Well, the Israelites were the people who were promised.
Well, and then the church came in, and the church is honestly, it's a mystery, and it's crazy because it's something that will get you. We are born into a time that we have been blessed with an indwelling of the Holy Spirit, and it's never been before, and it will end. The people in the Old Testament, one man was given the Holy Spirit. One man was he didn't. The things that we have inside us.
Is it just because we have such like a high population on Earth now, or?
It's because Jesus Christ died for us, and right when He was died, the veil between the Holy Holy.
We were still talking. That's something that we talked about on the last podcast, and I feel like the question still was not.
And the question you can only answer for yourself, because it is an endless process of a relationship. You can see it.
How?
It goes in.
I want to
Okay,
keep
so
the content fresh. I don't want to keep asking the same questions.
It has to do with, you know, we deem prophecy in the Greek way, our Western mind, and so we deem that as prediction and fulfillment. Hebrews view it very differently. Prophecy is pattern. Prophecy is something that was done, and then is done, and then is done, and then is done, and then is done. In showing.
That's the whole idea of zeitgeist. Is like you have all these different religions around the world, and all of their shit and all of their messiahs kind of line up to, you know, different.
Have you ever read or heard anything about the Nephilim?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, it's interesting when you take these other these religions and stuff like this.
Because you have because it's
Oh, I'm familiar with it. I've seen it, and
I just.
Well, they've mimicked the Christ story.
Just to, well, but they came before it.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
Just to
The
let
Egypt
our
was
viewers
one.
know, just to let our viewers know exactly what we're talking about. Right now, we're in the age of Aquarius. Our solar system is lined up with the Aquarius constellation. If you track it, it actually goes in the opposite direction that the zodiacs go throughout the year. So you would have Aquarius, Pisces, Taurus, and then I think Gemini.
I'm not sure.
or whatever. So,
I'm a Taurus.
so it would go backwards. Right now we're in the age of Aquarius. Before we were in the age of Pisces, the fish, which is Jesus, who is the Pisces, which is why we have so many stories in the fishermen, fucking the story where he fed the crowd with 2 fish
Well,
and 3 loaves of bread, whatnot. Okay, so before that was Hinduism, right? And they respect the fucking cow, right? And that lines up with fucking Taurus.
I
You know what I mean?
have an interjection, and it's something that does take a bit of faith to, and now it is just my conjecture. But I am aware that these things happened before. There's stories of walking along water. There's stories of, I mean, the flood story is worldwide, essentially,
Yeah,
in all these
flood
ancient
story,
cultures.
They have a story of one of their fucking gods or fucking Messiah or whatever that's doing the same thing, dying, being resurrected 3 days later. All these ancient fucking
Now,
civilizations have this shit.
Now, Lucifer was kicked out of heaven, and we're told that it's kind of a pride issue. You know, he said he wanted to be worshipped as the Most High. And we know that Jesus came around the times when, you know, Rome was ruling Israel. You know, certainly not the dawn of history. So, this is how my mind works. So that's all I'm saying. Satan was cast from heaven in whatever time. I mean, we're not exactly given the time, because in Adam and Eve, the enemy is on the earth.
I just want to ask real quick, do we have a time frame, you know, of the Roman Empire that was like...
That lasted?
I
Well,
think it was from like 600 BC, something
it,
like that,
it,
right?
it can be shown, it is documented. All these Roman emperors and things like that, like, it is, the Bible is historically accurate with the Roman emperors and this and that. So we know the fall of the Jerusalem, I know, was 70 AD. And in the Old Testament, there are messianic prophecies that the Jews studied. And that's a very fruitful task to go on. But the Messiah had to come before the fall of Jerusalem was prophesied. Because it was prophesied that the Jews would in fact reject the Messiah, and that in fact he would be killed. In fact, his crucifixion was depicted 200 years or 700 years before crucifixion was invented, and it's so accurate that they used
you gotta
it.
send me these fucking video links, bro.
Bro, it's so accurate that they've used it in medical examinations of a death by crucifixion. You know, the word excruciating, comes from the word crucifixion.
Really?
Yes. Because you could suffocate while you were being crucified because of the stress and the pressure. You know, it really was. I mean, the passion of the Lord is really
I'm sorry, I can't
no.
take it anymore. I got a fucking rock in my hand.
Yeah, the subtle beasts of the field. God used Hebrew to get to us, right? But Satan was cast down to earth so many years before Christ came. Piece by piece, through Jewish prophecy, Satan was given piece by piece of how to lead people astray, how to make people, even in this day and age, deny by saying, oh, well, they had their legends of this and that. But the thing is that those aren't the only prophecies that Christ fulfilled. Christ fulfilled over 300 specific prophecies, and we're talking
Like he's talking like the
down to the
description,
day.
down to the fucking
Like there
the
wasn't
person-
a day before or a day late
yeah.
type mathematical. He arrived exactly when this angel said he would to Daniel, which was written in black and white at least 300 years before Christ came on earth. People had that in their hand. There's so many things it's beyond human understanding. But as I grow and develop a relationship with these things, and I look at what I do on a daily basis, do I spend my time or do I invest my time? You know, and that's what's out. You know, it kills me sometimes because human nature, man, I want to be lazy. I come home from work, I want to lay on my bed, and they got everyone addicted to scrolling, to video game, to, the black screen. They got everyone addicted to a fucking black screen, and it does make me wonder, is it all a distraction? Because we are so much better than that. And like you said, when you put on a suit and you feel this way, when I put on that armor of God and I hold that sword in my hand, boy, I feel like I'm investing my time. I feel like I'm actually building. Like I'm actually learning, that I'm actually questioning, and it's driven me to look up all different things that wouldn't have come across my path. The Gulliver's Travels fucking thing, I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't have cared, and it's just all, it's not something that I can express to you guys and give you faith, it's a personal thing that was revealed to me, that I'm not saying you couldn't find, but that's what I mean by it being this trans-dimensional relationship, because I love that movie with Jack Black, and whatever. I didn't even know about the book, or
Mel.
I gotta get another beer.
Oh my gosh, Maui, are you okay, bro? Come
But
here.
we could get off the faith.
Maui, come here. What, you burned him? Yeah, look, he burned himself.
Maui.
I'm sure he's fine.
He's a big bomb.
He's a tank.
Big bomb.
I see him.
He does some shit.
Wow. Conversations.
Me and you.
I'm the listener, dog. I'm the listener.
Yeah, I speak for him when this is some bad.
Very true. We're learning. It's a learning experience. By the way, it's live streaming, so.
It's definitely like this.
No, it is. You got a lot of great.
Oh, Freddy's on the wall.
You guys seeing your fucking characters?
Yeah.
Don't make Tony Tolmaroli come back out. Anyway. Yeah, man. How do you feel about this, Dylan and Ornate?
We said it when you guys left.
Oh,
I think it's interesting. I mean, I don't necessarily, obviously I'm not on the same boat as him.
Yeah, no,
Right.
same here. I'm not
Well, I'm
necessarily
not
on the same boat either.
opposed.
It's
I'm
like,
not opposed to it. The thing about religion for me is I don't necessarily believe.
if you
but
can give me
it's
some
same thing with
mathematical
him.
substance,
Same thing with him, and maybe
because
I just
that
have to
that
watch
that
it.
for me that's
See,
evidence. You know what
I
mean?
needed something that
That's
would
not
also feed my analytical mind.
Exactly.
Because I can go by a lot of faith, I do pick up on a lot of spiritual sense of things, and
But
but I need I
Mathematical
do well. It's not. There's a difference between proof and evidence.
Yeah.
Proof is almost a final thing.
Yes,
And guess
that's
what?
true, that's
There's
true.
still prophecy to be fulfilled.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
I will totally agree with that.
but evidence, on the other hand,
That's
you
just
can provide evidence
something that
of,
shows.
and all I can provide is evidence of a trans-dimensional object. And in the Bible, it says that it literally will blind spirits of the unbeliever. It says that Christ will build His church. And no one comes to the Son except drawn by the Father. You know, so it says again that the wicked are created for the day of wrath. There are evil people. There are people who will not be saved.
Now, see, that's something that I also disagree with in the Bible.
Well, everyone is given free will,
I
personal
remember
choice.
One of my buddies that I went to school of learning how to build guitars with, he said it more eloquently than I think anybody else could. He was like, I'm going to try to say this as verbatim as I can, but he was pretty much like, why would God, a wrathful God, as described in the Bible, make such beautiful women, gorgeous women with such beautiful buttholes, and then tell me I can't stick my finger in?
I don't know. God has standards. You know, I don't know.
Sodomy
I don't know.
is a sin in the Bible. What is it?
Sodomy is butt sex, but it's
Or
usually
oral sex.
it's usually in a
Or oral
homosexual.
sex.
It's usually in a homosexual
It's
connotation.
any kind of sex that is not not vaginal.
It's well the.
Well, it's like you have to get all the
If,
shit.
have you
We're
ever
talking
read the
like
Song of
actual
Solomon?
reason.
No.
The Song of Solomon is a very graphic
But
love tale.
what
X-rated
I'm saying,
indeed.
What I'm saying is, I believe that he is absolutely right. Like, I don't see God being like vengeful or wrathful.
So
like that.
so the
like,
way that you see it is
kinda
that
sucks.
is that
You know?
is
And
that
all the deadly sins. I feel like at least
those aren't biblical.
I feel like at least 4 of them are sins that God, are characteristics that God He Himself portrays at points.
What?
Pride, wrath, sloth.
I wouldn't say pride. I'd say Lucifer represents pride.
He, Genesis says he looked at what he did and he saw that it was good. So a little bit of pride there, which I can understand if you
Is that-
create the whole
is that-
fucking universe.
Is
you know?
that, or is he saying that he saw that it was good? Because when you study who he was, when he saw that it was good, it's in contrast to what it was and other things that it could be.
Before it was nothing.
It's not that he was saying, well, it was
Before
good
it
and I
not-
did
Before
this.
it was nothing.
That's where the study of Hebrew comes in.
Before it was
Because when
absolutely
you
nothing.
study the original words and the letters therein, it provides a fuller picture. Good is the English translation. But it's a close translation. All I'm saying is that, you know what? God is beyond human understanding. If it was a God that I could fit inside my mind, if it was a God that I could fit inside my mind,
I haven't, hopped on the fucking boat yet.
if it was a God I could fit inside my mind, I wouldn't feel worthy of worshiping Him. If I could fully understand and put that God inside my mind, would He be worthy of my worship?
See, like what?
If I could draw a blueprint of
So-
God,
So we're just a big what?
well, I mean, I pulled up.
You know how we have phone games that we play that like you have like a little
So
civilization.
we're the Angry Birds.
and you can choose where people work. You can choose this, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
We're the Sims.
Like
We're the
Sims,
Sims.
like you're
yeah. Like, what if we're just
Well,
We're someone's second life.
you know,
No, we've been talking about
a
this.
simulation?
So motherfucking
Go back to where you're at.
back to your time. You know, investing your time. You know, what is worth your time? You know, you want to spend your time, you want to invest your time. If you want to invest your time, what is worth your time? So, is it worth my time to worship something that I may not even fully understand or know exists at all? You know, and I'm not trying to devalue or invalidate.
I don't
your
take
faith
any. I
or
don't
anything
feel
like
that way.
I completely respect
I don't
that.
feel that way.
But I mean, like, really, like, what am I doing with my time by doing that? By doing, self introspection and like meditation and things like that. That can definitely help growth. And also, like I said, crafting, creating tangible things. At least I feel like that has a lot of value to me because I want a lot of things that are of my value that I cannot afford, and so I make them myself.
I can understand
and
that.
then I have things that are of good quality and high value that I don't have to spend.
I can understand that, and I envy that skill. I'm not a guy who's good with working with my hands. I'm not.
You do shipping. You do shipping. Come on now.
I don't enjoy working with my hands at all.
What?
I don't enjoy building stuff. I don't
Really?
enjoy doing this. No, I don't. Because it's tiresome to me.
Really?
It's fucking, I don't enjoy it at all.
It is tiresome. It is tiresome. But I love it because at the end of it, you can step back and just be like,
I mean,
oh,
I do
man,
want to build a
shit.
bookshelf.
Like, fuck.
Hold on,
I fucking made that
can we get a
shit.
close up here because I have not
Put my
uploaded the
boy's
clip
wallet
I have.
on.
Now my boy, he
Here,
did.
You show him. You show him.
Okay, let me give you an introduction to this wallet. My
That's my
boy
swamp wallet.
cut the
Swamp
leather,
wallet, baby.
stained the leather,
Hey, make me.
stitched the leather.
Not the outside. I did not stain the outside. I did stain the inside.
Listen, my boy has done it all, and you see them racks in there. All right.
It ain't even payday.
It ain't even. Let me tell you.
It is actually
No,
payday.
don't.
It is actually payday, but this I haven't even tapped into my check yet. This is all from side work from this week. So
Side work.
get your hustle on, kids.
No, I mean, the way I look at it is, I've always even before I had really found my faith, I knew in my mind that I wanted to I wanted to become. I had a vision in my mind of who I wanted to be. And I wanted to be that old man sitting on the porch in the rocking chair. And I didn't care about having super degrees. I didn't care about having super house. I wanted to have homegrown wisdom. And because to me that was a big thing growing up, down south, and when you hang around older guys or whatever, the old men, they had that old southern. They seem to always have some sort of one line, two
Some
line.
kind of quip.
They put it in for every little.
One of my favorites that my stepdad said, cowboy wisdom.
Cowboy
Always
wisdom.
remember to taste your words before you spit them out.
See, that shit. I wanted to be that.
So short,
I-
sweet, simple, so fucking eloquent,
But
bro.
profound.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something you
Absolutely.
cook on your whole life. I wanted to be that old man. I wanted to be that old man able to give whatever generation, whoever's ear, that wisdom. And I found myself getting locked up a lot. I was going to jail all the fucking time. And there is not anything hardly good to read in jail. You might find a gem here and there.
You know what I think
But-
is funny? I was listening to Christian comics. Funny enough. Funny enough. See what I did there?
How were they?
They were alright.
I've never
Not too
even
bad.
dabbled
if you,
those.
If you don't know anything about Christianity, then you're not gonna get much. But if you know a little bit, if you're familiar with the.
I just imagine that being a corn fest.
Oh no, it really is. It
I
really is.
just-
But it's
I
still
couldn't-
pretty good most of the time. It's still
Yeah.
pretty good most of the time. But he was saying, God, what was I bringing it up for? Fucking. Shit, I fucking forgot.
either way, man. So I started reading the Bible a lot when I was in jail.
Sorry. He said something about the passage in the Bible. Sorry, you made me forget because you were talking about funny, and this wasn't necessarily something funny, but he was talking about a passage in the Bible where it was saying that you shall give sight to the blind, or that Peter was blind for some time or whatever before he fucking like.
Oh, Paul.
Paul. Yeah. And so I find it really funny that you tell that story about you tripping on triple C's up in Cape Canaveral and being blind for 2 or 3 days.
And it's funny.
Before you hit up your dad, and then that's when you were fucking saved.
That is so funny because you know what? I used to be so against God, man. I used to honestly.
Isn't that a funny fucking?
It is, and
Yeah,
you know.
have you ever thought about that?
No, I never have. I never have, man. That's funny. That really did put a laugh in my heart, dude. That really is. That is funny.
Isn't that
man.
kind of a crazy?
That is
fucking
because
coincidence?
I slept on a church.
Yeah.
On a church bench.
Yeah.
You know, and you know when I found my faith, because I wasn't, I had accepted Jesus in my heart as a little kid, but I hadn't experienced then, and it was strange to me, a very strange night, and that my brother remembers as well, but I wouldn't. I mean, maybe I was saved. I don't know. But I did not accept God or follow Christ or anything. Trust me, I did not. I rejected it as hard as I could. You know, yeah, I re-enlisted. That's what it is.
No, I was saying you were heathenistic.
Oh, I thought you said I re-enlisted. I was like, yes, I did. No, no. Yeah. No, but yes. But when I did kind of give my life over to God, and I mean, it was like a wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of thing. I mean, God was giving me revelation after revelation of like every time the Holy Spirit was like moving in my life, saving me. I mean, you know, one time, and this is the kind of Christian I thought I was a Christian, and this is the kind of guy I was.
Fresh content.
This is the kind of guy I was. Man, let me tell you, I was on probation, felony, and I was dirty as hell. I had been smoking all month long, knowing I'm dirty as fuck, knowing I got a drug test coming up. Well, day comes, I gotta go take my test. Now I'm riding my bike from at my dad's house up to where my probation office is.
Okay, wait, the probation officer.
Listen, I don't want to give, since we're live, I'm not trying to give any
Okay,
sort of.
okay.
It was a couple.
Distance.
It was I'd say a couple miles.
Okay.
Probably 5-7 miles.
Okay.
Maybe 12.
I'm not good at estimating either.
No, yeah, I don't
know. Somewhere between
Listen,
5
man,
and 15.
I wasn't paying attention anyways. I'm not focusing on the ride. When I'm riding my bike.
How long did it take?
Listen, man, when I'm riding my bike, I hadn't even left Beachside yet.
How long did it take? Hey,
I couldn't tell you. Listen, it was years ago, and it's unimportant. Point is that I hadn't even gotten far. Hadn't left Beachside. The sheriffs are now like, triangulate. We heard Beachside. No. Listen, man, I was praying, knowing that I hadn't done a damn thing, knowing that, you know, I'm not in the Word of God. I don't pray to God. I'm praying right now, because I'm like, when I'm praying this. I'm like,
wait,
I'm riding my bike.
Like on your bike?
No, I'm riding my bike.
Wait, right now in this moment or right now?
Right now when I'm in the
bike?
store.
Okay.
In the store, I'm on my bike.
I like this action that's going on.
And I'm like, God, please don't.
Did you let go of your handlebars like that?
I could have.
Cool.
That
would have been way more badass.
I'm like, please don't send me to jail today. Please, I got so much going on right now. Please don't send me to jail today. I'm just going over and over in my mind of, well, God, you know I'm this. Hey, I don't know if you could see everything, but you know, you might have missed this. I'm this kind of guy. And I promise to do this. Lord, just please don't send me to jail. I'm that kind of Christian. Smoking all month long, hamming up with my friends, fucking bitches, all living pure life of sin. A pure Christian is what I was.
See, once again,
Well, you know what happened to me? You know what happened to me? In the midst of my prayer, I ran over a fucking power line. I ran over, and now I was already.
This is why you weren't holding the hand
I was already ready to go to jail. I had worn some of my brother's Nikes in case I got locked up, because when I came, I had in my mind when I come out, I could be looking fresh. So I was already ready. I didn't even have no faith that God was going to hear my prayer. And I ran over a power line. I ran over a power line. And there's construction guys. I had apparently I was not paying attention. I fucking ran straight into this shit and it got caught up in the whole transformer blew, all that shit. These guys, I like, bro, I dropped the bike. I like stood up. I couldn't believe what was going on. These construction workers started coming up asking if I wanted a fucking ambulance. And I was like,
so did you get like knocked out by the fucking shit?
No, I told them I was fine.
You were totally good.
I was completely fine. In fact,
You didn't get shocked, electrocuted.
in fact,
Did you get any
No,
kind of shock?
no,
Nothing.
nothing. I rode my bike to probation. But it put in my mind, it
Wait,
said,
they caught it up out of the wire?
yeah, no, yeah, they pulled it out of my chain and everything because it had gone around the spool. And I pulled it.
Dude.
And that's what pulled the transformer.
What the fuck?
Bro, it was wild.
And you didn't get any kind of shock?
No, I wasn't, like I said, I continued to probation.
What the
And you know
fuck,
what it put
bro?
in my heart? It said, you know what, you are sitting here worried about going to jail. When I could end your life right now. You are worried about such minuscule things when there are such greater things. But you know what, that day, even when I got to probation, my probation officer asked me, he said, you do cocaine? I was like, no, I don't do cocaine. All right, we're going to test you for that. And he just tested me for cocaine. And I had never done cocaine up to that point. I'd never done that. And so it's like, not only did God answer my prayer and hear my prayer, but he like, something changed in me that day. And I took a different perspective.
Like checked you,
Yeah. And I said, you know what?
basically.
This shit, some people get caught up because there is a line. Because this is not a waste of time. This is the world we inhabit. This is where I connect with other souls, other spirits. Exactly. This is why God chose me. God chose you. This is, and
God chose that
so
too.
it's,
Even though
yeah,
they're not saying
exactly.
much.
the royal you, the proverbial you,
What I find really, really cool is the word universe. You know what I mean? Because it implies that everything is one. It's when I think of verse, I think of like a song. You know what I mean? It's like one voice, one song. Like we're all singing the same thing. We're all going through the same shit. You know, we're all here. It's all one. It's a universe.
Have you ever heard the acronym for love? Hebrews love acrostics.
I think I have refreshed my memory.
Living one vibrational energy.
Yeah. Okay.
And they say that God is love.
Mm-hmm.
And
So that is.
that.
See,
And God has answered my
These
prayers.
are things to feed my analytical mind.
God has answered my prayers so many times, man. For me, it's proof beyond measure. I couldn't ask another thing. And just like you said earlier, He has blessed my life beyond than anything I could have dreamed. 5-6 years ago, I would have never dreamed.
Just like that story that I told about how I fucking failed a drug test and that led me to this job that I fucking have now.
No,
like,
exactly.
Years ago. Like, how does shit like that happen?
Well,
like
there's an age-old question between predestination and free will.
Like I feel like part of, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. And let me expound on that with what I'm going to say. Part of the part
Dylan's pussing out already.
part of
Hey, this is my first live stream, dog.
part of the blessing.
And you're letting the world know that I hang out with guys who are
part of the blessing.
responsible.
Part
You're
of
gonna be responsible right now?
Part of the blessing.
Shut up. Part of the fucking blessing. Sorry.
On a Friday?
Part of the blessing is being taught, being given wisdom, and how are you given wisdom? Through experience. So we think, these hardships that we go through, they're so shitty, it's so fucked. Why are you treating me like this, God? But it's like,
He chastises who he loves.
just like Job.
Yeah. Well, Job is a special case. You know, Job is the oldest book in the Bible. Job was before the books of Moses.
That's crazy. Anyway,
Yes.
Anyway, so, well, we may get back to that, but either way, fucking, so, with predestining, like I said, the scripture says that God has this
Plans
shit
for you.
fucking planned out for you,
Mhm.
but you also have free will, right?
Mhm. And that's why Lucifer hates us.
And you can have free will to do whatever you want, but at some point, in order to attain what God has set out for you, you have to, of your own free will, accept the blessing.
That's exactly it. It's a free gift. It's not anything we can do. The price has already been paid. The only thing you can do is accept. And that is what leads to worship. It's not a command for worship. It's a worship because once it is created a new heart in you,
So that's where I might disagree because of the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not worship any other God before
but see,
me.
the law was not given to justify us. The law was given to reflect our sin.
Which is another pride thing, I think, or is it vanity? Vanity. I would put
And
that.
what explain on that?
What I was talking about earlier with the 7 deadly sins, how God portrays some of them, I would put that in as vanity. Thou shalt worship no other God before me, because God is vain.
Well,
God
there are
is
no other gods. I mean, it's what it is. And you reminded me of the question I was going
I'm
to ask
sorry,
you earlier.
I'm talking on a lot of different.
I know, and I'm picking you up. I'm picking up what you're putting down, dog. I'm wishing I could hang out all night with you.
Well, we have until we lose daylight. I feel
Bro,
like so. We don't have much longer.
I know, and I had looked up some pop culture news earlier.
So what was the question?
No, well, the question is that, by that standard, the standard that you're kind of projecting here that, oh, well, God is prideful for saying that it was good.
Yeah.
God is vain for giving us commandments.
Mm-hmm.
God is, why would God bless me with a girl's beautiful butthole? And it's not that. It's why would God bless me with so many beautiful strangers if I can't have them all?
No,
That to me is the
because
same
that's lust,
concept.
because that's lust, and as far as I know, God doesn't exhibit lust. But however, that's the whole point I was trying to make. It's that the Bible says that we are created in God's image, so we hold traits of God. So how would these sins be deadly for us if they are, in and of themselves, traits that God exhibits from time to time?
Well,
Why?
I'm gonna-
Why? Even though that we are created in His image, is He so above us like that He gets to act in that way?
let me try
And
and
He's still omniscient and perfect.
let me try and break
and
it down on a
without
couple
sin,
different levels.
But we are sinning and doing those things.
Let me try and break it
In a
down
deadly
in a
way.
couple levels. We are created in God's image. We are not created as God's image. We have aspects unlike any other beast, unlike any other living creature. We are created in the image of God in the sense that we have a spirit. We have an in tune sense of morality.
Exactly.
We
You know
have-
what one of the best things I've ever heard for this argument was that God loves justice.
God is a just God.
Don't we all
God
love
has to
justice?
be just.
And God loves justice, and that is a trait that was
Amen.
instilled in us from being made in God's image.
Amen. Then to take your question further, if we are created in the image of God, but we are unlike the angels. We are a new creation. We are given special privilege. And in Revelation, trust me, we're set in a good position. And that's what Lucifer was envious of. Is that, you know what? Me and you, we have the capability to worship ourselves. We even have the capability to be worshipped as the Most High. That's what Lucifer was always chasing. Donald Trump even established that in some people's hearts. That's idolatry in my eyes.
Okay.
Now, God has given us free will. But it's because He loves us so much. God already has His angels. And when they went astray with Lucifer, a third of the angels also went astray and were cast out of heaven. He didn't want us to be that. He wanted us to choose Him. He doesn't need us. He wants us to want Him. And that's where the relationship comes in.
I totally get that, because that's more and more what I've been on about, like, not to compare it to something super shallow, but, you know,
compare it to what you understand.
With a fucking chick. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if it's the coolest fucking chick in the fucking world, hottest fucking chick, what the fuck ever. If she's giving me her time, cool, but if the whole time she's just like, alright, yeah, sure, whatever, like, I'm not gonna be fucking into it. It's not fucking cool. Like, I want to be
exactly,
with a
and that's
girl
what
who really, like, wants me, who's about me, who wants to be
that's
like,
what
hey,
God
you're
wants.
fucking
God
awesome
wants a
and you're great.
relationship.
You know?
You know, it's
So
more
Cartman
than
wasn't too far off in that
He wasn't
episode
too
of
far, but
South
it's not-
Park
it's
where
not
he was trying to
legalistic.
get the platinum record.
don't get me wrong here. It's not legalistic devotion. You know, legalism, Jesus condemned. You know, He wants
What are
you
you
to
talking
be
about, like marriage?
No, legalism as in following the law to the letter, and it's the law, and if you broke the law, you're going to hell.
Well,
You
I
see
mean,
a lot of
already
Christians.
know I want to get pegged.
Well,
so-
you see a lot of Christians like that. But the thing about, okay, the sin and the death, you know, why would God put that on us?
Yeah.
If God so loved us that He gave His only begotten Son, well, why would He even give us temptation? You know, why would He have tempted Adam? If He knew what was going to go down, why would He even have tempted Adam? You know, surely He could have put the fucking tree somewhere else. You know, it's like, but the thing is that it is about love. And it is about our freedom. And it is about us being unique and created in the image of God.
So
That is such a...
So therein lies another fucking.
Well, the thing is, let me finish my point before I get distracted.
Sorry.
The sin that brings death. What did Satan say? He said, oh, eat this fruit. You're going to be like him. You're going to know. And what was it? It was nothing but a lie. These people, immediately, they felt condemned in themselves. God, He gave us the law. Not that He knew that we would not be able to live by the law, but that we would be condemned by the law. That we would realize we need His Son. That we would realize that, you know what, we cannot help but fail. Because, yeah, we're created in the image of God, but we are sons of Adam.
So, but
We're fallen sinful
he's
creatures.
omniscient, and that was his plan all along, was it not?
His plan all along was to show you His love for you through the redemption by offering His Son on your behalf.
All right.
While we were yet still sinners,
All right.
He gave us his son.
I don't mean to be rude. But I
Well,
just
let
wanna
me
make sure.
let me just finish.
Okay.
And where it causes our death. And I don't know if it's ever happened to you. Before I was even faithful, dog, I had this thing, and it's in my journals. I called it No Love 2012. I'd had my heart broke too many times. I was fucking around with too many sluts. That was what I had I thought my life was ruled by my dick. How many bitches I fucked was how good I was. To my friends, to whoever. It was killing me inside because none of these fucking girls cared. And I said in 2012, I said, I ain't gonna love no bitch. I ain't falling in love. I ain't being promiscuous. I was almost abstinent. That was the first year of my life since I was sexually active. I had one sexual partner. It's been that way since then, but, you know, that was when I changed. And you know what it was? And it's something that, even today, I still struggle with, because I'm a dog. And it was a sin of my father, it's a sin of mine. It's, you know, lust is a big sin of mine, man. Jesus said if you look with lust, you commit adultery in your heart. You know, it's like I love my girl, but I have these human eyes.
I get that.
I can't walk
when-
through
when-
Walmart
when-
without seeing some girl dressed in
When,
some.
when I'm with a girl that I truly care about, I don't have eyes for
I
anybody else.
purposefully,
You know what I mean?
when I see there's a female, I don't examine nothing. I purposefully avert my eyes because I'd rather not even
And
risk
I
it.
feel like that's kind of hurting my game now because I still feel like I still do that even though
Well, you
I'm
know
single,
what?
I'm just kind of training myself to do it because I'm so used to being with people.
Those things are a death to your soul and to your spirit. And you will find that you are more alive and more of who you are when you forego those sins. The more sins of those you can chip away at, you'll find that it was killing you. You'll find that you're a more, and you'll find God's love. You'll say, damn, just like I fucking tell my son, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I'm not telling him don't do this because I'm worried about X, Y, and Z. I know he'll be fine and this and that. I'm doing it because I love him and I want the best for
But
him.
do you tell him why? 'Cause
I try.
I feel like that's
But he doesn't understand
No,
so
I
much.
feel, but you still gotta try it and you still gotta do that. And
Exactly, but I have to come to his level.
I'm not trying to preach or anything, but that's something that I've always done for my daughter. Is anytime I tell her not to do something,
I agree to
or
that.
she should
I agree
be
to
doing
that.
something that she's doing, I will
Tell her
always
why.
Tell her why.
Tell her why I just
don't-
whipped it
I
in.
don't ever want to be that dad that says because I said so.
No, I'm not that dad either.
That's
I'm not that dad.
Always
No,
gotta have a reason.
no.
And I even tell her, I tell you, if you're
Mhm.
doing something and you don't know why you're doing it, maybe ask yourself why you're doing it. And if you don't really have a reason, maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
Trust me, I'm not gonna be one of them dads who didn't discipline my son. I'm not gonna be one of them wild kids, you know, because you know what? I got disciplined as a child. And you know what? I don't remember the pain of any of the spankings or this and that, but you know what I do remember?
The shame.
The lesson.
Yep.
The lesson I was being taught. I do remember that. And you know what? I believe in it. You know, so the world can have what it have, but I'm going to discipline my son. If you feel another way, you have a kid, do it how you want.
Hey,
I
man,
think
my
majority of
daughter's-
real parents believe.
In discipline.
yeah.
Amen. I do too.
My daughter's got her butt popped plenty of times, but you know what? I can't remember the last time she got her butt popped. Like, she's 11 years old now. She's doing great. She's incredibly well behaved. People comment
Exactly.
all the time on how
It's the kids who
well-mannered
aren't
she is.
disciplined. It's the
You know,
kids
when
who
we
aren't
go out.
disciplined who are going wild, who are, you know, all kinds of shit. I'm not going to have that.
That episode of the Boondocks where that kid was throwing a temper tantrum in the freaking supermarket, and that young white mom was just like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with them," and fucking Grandpa walks up and he's like, "Oh, if they could just beat his ass." She's like, "What?" Straight takes his belt off and hands it to her. Like everyone in the supermarket's looking in horror as this kid's throwing the temper tantrum, and then this woman just starts beating that ass, you know. And everyone in the supermarket's just like, "All right, cool, okay." Yeah, we can go back to what we're doing now.
We should probably wrap up.
We probably should. So I do want to say one more thing. And maybe we can use this as a jump start for the next one that we do. Long distance relationships is another thing that I feel like I can't do. You know what I mean? So if I'm supposed to have a relationship with God, how am I supposed to have a relationship with Him?
Well, you know what?
I can't text Him. I can't call Him. I can't talk to Him face to face. Well,
I can talk to God and I can listen to God's word.
When I try, and I feel like I do try, I feel like I get no response. And the response that I get is definitely not the response that I'm looking for. Maybe there's something deep to that, but I mean,
I wouldn't count that out. But you know, AC/DC made a song about that, if I'm not mistaken. Can't always get what you want.
No, that was
whoever.
Stones.
Really, Grandpa
That was
Rock.
the Rolling Stones. I fucking
You
hate
know,
that song.
yeah,
The
everyone
beginning of that
does.
song, the child
Everyone
choir at the
does.
beginning of that song
Yeah,
is so terrible.
Exactly.
I am much more of a fan of the Who than the Rolling Stones, for sure.
I don't like the Stones. I don't like AC/DC either. I like
AC/DC's
Zeppelin.
alright.
I like
Zeppelin's
Zeppelin.
cool. Zeppelin's cool. I can get
Zeppelin.
down with Zeppelin. I can get down with AC/DC. I can't get overwhelmed on the AC/DC. You know? That's when you get electrocuted.
No, yeah. All that good stuff. I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about wrapping it up, I guess. So
Yeah.
once again,
How do y'all feel? Let's get some mention
yeah.
from our silent
and
partners.
in the meantime, I'm gonna find Camo's actual.
Find Camo's actual thing.
email.
It's plugging.
No, when you guys left before, like, you know, me and him said something about it, and me and Freddie came out, we said something about it too, like, it's definitely, like, interesting.
Definitely send me those videos because like y'all talking about a lot of shit. I don't
It's
really,
just
like,
we
have
don't
a lot of
understand,
ideas.
and then it's like you
So,
guys.
like,
I can
really,
understand
like,
it. It seems.
I'm just trying to absorb and like listen and learn
Get
because
some of the mathematics behind this, because if you could once again show me some real mathematical evidence.
I can send you guys some videos that are great. For people watching, start digging into Chuck Misler. Dr. Chuck Misler, he was a fruitful study indeed.
Yeah, it's all definitely very like interesting.
I enjoy having fruitful conversations.
No, I like having these
No, they're
conversations
good. They're good.
because you show me the opposite side.
And that's why I
And that's
enjoy
why
having
I like
conversations.
listening because it's not so much like I told Freddie that I refuse to believe. I don't believe because necessarily proof or evidence to my like it hasn't been brought to me
But
personally.
evidence to me personally, because I have felt, like I said before, what you might refer to as the Holy Spirit, the Force. I have felt that. I have felt the presence of that.
To me, I
know,
don't think
I've
felt
used
that.
the presence of that.
Yeah,
in some
I could say
sense.
I don't really like necessarily need evidence. I believe in God, but like I definitely have evidence, especially if I'm watching. I was like seeing and watching my friend die before my eyes, like stuff like that.
That'll change you.
See, that's some fucking shit.
That'll change you.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and there's experiences.
And then
And like I
carrying,
said,
carrying his body into the hospital and then bringing him back, like that's stuff.
that's and it's it's a personal relationship, and that's really what it is. But I do want to thank y'all hanging out with HashBrown. First live stream.
Sorry, y'all, I can't fucking work my phone right now.
It's
We'll,
Ludwig something. We're gonna
we
find
are going
it.
to find
It's
it.
gonna
We're
be
gonna
in
find
the
it.
description.
It's gonna be in the description. It's gonna be in the comments.
Subscribe to his fucking shit.
Yep, because we're doing podcasts on that. We're
It's gonna be good shit.
Mhm.
It's gonna be fun. You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. Yep.
We can 99.999% guarantee it.
yes. It's educational. This is for children. These are videos made for children.
And HashBrown's gonna get off his ass and he's gonna edit that video.
Yeah, we got new video coming out
and he's
this
gonna
week.
Post it next week.
So stay tuned. My boy Freddie here is an interview we did, another crazy story. It's gonna be lit. It is a funny one.
Anyone who's actually watching right now, man, fucking, we love you. Hearts up.
fucking.
Yeah, if anyone viewed this, I don't know.
I have no
Yeah,
idea. That'd
it's-
be cool
yeah.
if they did.
But yeah, we'll see ya.
Peace out, y'all.
How do I stop this fucking?
Live streaming forever.